This beach volleyball action is proudly brought to you by Flying Fish, premium flavoured beer. The first tournament of the Flying Fish Beach Volleyball Series took place in Durban. It was a terrific event, and then some surprise winners and some of the firm favourites as well. Lots of tournaments to come after the Durban event, but it was a great start to what is going to be a fabulous series of beach volleyball. Winners in the men's section were Ivan and Ricky, who took the title over Clinton and Freedom, who were one of the favourites.
Well, for us, it's obviously we would like to repeat what we did because we overachieved in Durban. And yeah, it was a successful tour for us at the end. Very excited to be here.
And looking at the teams that we have around here, there's a couple of teams that were missing in Durban. We've got Leo and we've got Grant, our Olympic hopefuls. They've come down. We've got a nice exciting combination of Casey and Colin, and also the strong team of Dom and Alan. So the draw is tough, and I mean, we've got some nice players. Jerome, Obi, we're playing them in the quarterfinal, so that's going to be a nice exciting one. But that's what draws me to beach volleyball.
Exciting men's final then with Ivan and Ricardo Stevens. Ricky, they call him on court, winning the title and picking up the 100 points apiece. Freedom and Clinton in the second spot there. Alan and Dominic were in the third position. Colin and Sean, losing semi-finalists, eventually finishing in fourth position. Well, while the men had celebrated their title victory, the women were on the court as well. And the victory to the women went to Palisa and Randy, the favourites for the overall title. And a very good performance from the leading ladies over Sheena and Dika.
We're very excited to win the last tournament, and we're coming in this tournament as defending champions, and we're hoping that we will defend our title.
We're working on our basics, what we can control. That's what we do in all our games. So we play our game instead of having to play the other team's game. So that's how we stay on the top.
And stay on the top they certainly did. Palesa and Randy then on top of the standings with 100 points apiece in the championship after the round in Durban. Shin and Dike in second spot. Kristen and Liesel putting up a good performance but losing out in the semi-finals, winning third spot there. And Karina and Mira making up the fourth pairing with 45 points apiece. Plenty of preparations as the beach volleyball series went inland from Durban, and Cresta Shopping Centre would never be the same again. Plenty of sand brought in for the beach volleyball series and series number 2 of the Flying Fish Beach Volleyball competition. Into the ladies' quarterfinals, and the first of the quarterfinals placed Jean and Dike up against Karina and Mira. And the fans were starting to pack in, looking for an opportunity to watch the ladies in action. There would be 4 of the men's quarterfinals played a bit later on. But in the bright sunshine of Johannesburg, it was Sheena and Dika who would eventually win by 2 sets to love. 21-12 in the first set, 21-9 in the second. Sheena and Dika, who were finalists in Durban, looking to make early headway in this competition in Johannesburg.
The match was phenomenal. Those girls made us work. And Mira, she was hitting a lot of cross court, and Dika saw that, and at one point she was like, you know what, let me go and block the cross court and you take the line. And then every time she went to block the cross court, she got it correct. So it was really good.
The second of the quarterfinals saw the favourites Palesa and Randy coming up against Simone and Luciana. And there just doesn't seem to be any stopping Palesa and Randy. They were forced onto the back foot on a number of occasions by Simone and Luciana, playing from the court to the left-hand side of the favourites. But Palesa and Randy were having none of it as the fans cheered on their main supporters. Winning eventually, Palesa and Randy 21-10, 21-8 to move into the semi-finals.
We're very happy with our win because it's a step up in the tournament, so we're closer to defending our championship.
Well, we kept our composure and our services were very tough, and we just gelled together.
The third of the quarterfinals pitched Natasha and Nikki up against Kristen and Liesel, and the match was a lot tighter than the first of the two quarterfinals. Already victories for Sheena and Dika and Pelisa and Randy. Natasha and Nikki would eventually wrap this one up 21-16, 21-19. Early on, though, it was pretty stiff competition between the pairings, looking to make a mark in this competition.
It was awesome. It's our first tournament together as a team. We've actually only played a little bit indoor volleyball at the Pocox Arena. You know, just played around for like 30 minutes and we decided let's do this, and we're through to the semi, so it's an amazing feeling.
Well, first of all, we need a very positive attitude because we know who we're playing against and it's going to be a tough game, but we know them and we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun game.
The action continued at the Cresta Shopping Centre with the fourth quarterfinal about to hit the court, and it would be a very tense fought quarterfinal indeed. Kirsten Pocock and Judith Agostidis up against Khadija Yappi and Annette Fredriksson. So game underway, and eventually it would be Kirsten and Judith who would win quite easily 21-9, 21-8. Lots of pressure being put on the combination of Khadija and Annette. But the winners of Group B taking up the runners-up position of Group D, and well, under the floodlights of the evening, really putting on the pressure.
I mean, it's a good team, but once you let the pressure drop a little bit, they can be very dangerous. So we thought let's play full out from the beginning, and I think we did it fairly well.
We're looking forward to tomorrow. We play this game because we love it, and our whole outlook is we win by enjoying it. So win or lose, if we walk off the court and we've had an awesome game, we're happy.
That's good. Yeah.
Semi-finals got underway at the Cresta Shopping Centre in the women's competition. First of the semi-finals, Pelisa and Randy, tournament favourites and winners in Durban against Sheena and Dika. In fact, it was a repeat of the final in Durban that was won by Pelisa and Randy. So the first service point then going the way of Dika, serving from the right-hand court, and immediately some success for the runners-up in Durban. Sheena, with her very remarkable haircut, unmistakable out on the court, and once again going down the line this time from Dika. Good serving to start the match for Sheena and Dika, taking an early lead. But eventually it would be Pelisa and Randy who would come through pretty strongly, and particularly Pelisa from the left-hand court looking to go down the middle. Strong combination, favourites for the tournament as well. Dika taking a little bit of a respite from the warm conditions. Discussion between herself and Sheena. The first set going to Pelisa and Randy by 21 points to 19. Strong discussions from Pelisa and Randy as well. Not too much emotion being shown between the two girls, but certainly they were showing what they were all about once the play got underway once again. Some snazzy shades there as well from Sheena out on the court as the play got underway once again on the main court in Cresta.
Randy and Pelisa. And that time pushing the ball long at the back of the court.
So leading by 19 points to 13 in the second set. Pelisa and Randy looking to sew this one up and take a place in the final for the second tournament in a row. Dika, who is having some tremendous success with her serve, but on that occasion straight across court from Randy at the net, and there was no chance at all for Sheena and Dika. Back on serve, and Pelisa looking to make amends. Dika with a little dink and the knuckleball over the net, and there was some relief for the Sheena-Dika combination. Relaxed smiles coming from the camp of Pelisa and Randy, and with Sheena on serve, still trying to keep the finalists from Durban in the match, and a good dink at the net from Sheena. The dive was in vain for Sheena and Dika, and well, at the end of the day, the success going to Pelisa and Randy. 21-19, 21-15, and a place in the final
Yeah, the match was, it was tough. The serving was good. I think, for myself, I'm a bit disappointed in myself. I should have passed a bit better, and my covers, I should have been more on the ball. I was so close to the ball at sometimes, one more step. So, but yeah, it was a good match. My partner played amazingly. Her serves were so good. We were down 7 points in the first set to come up to 20-19 and just lose it. So, yeah, she was phenomenal.
The second of the semi-finals pitched Kirsten Pocock and Judith Agastidis against Natasha Stredom and Nikki Venhold. And the first opportunity to play in the semi-finals for the Natasha and Nikki combination. And they were looking forward to a good encounter. Natasha, the brunette, and Nikki would play on the right-hand court in the blonde hair. The red cap of Judith Agastidis, Kirsten on the right court as the second of the semi-finals got underway. Looking for a place in the final to play against the favourites Palesa and Randy. And serving from the right-hand court was Kirsten. And Kirsten with a bit of a scramble as well. Judith with a rescue. A little dink over the top. Natasha trying to make a fight of it. But Kirsten and Judith were really scrambling. And then down the centre of the court from Judith Agastidis for the point. Natasha and Nikki suggesting after their quarter-final victory that they were happy to be playing in the competition, happy to be participating at Cresta. So Kirsten again with a serve set up by Nikki. Nikki having to do some hard work at the net, but unfortunately the scramble wasn't enough for the Natasha-Nikki combination. Success at the end of the match, 21-12, 21-18 to Kirsten and Judith. The first set quite comfortably orchestrated by the Kirsten-Judith combination. So discussions during the break between the two sets by Kirsten and Judith. There was a bit of reorganising to be done as well by Natasha and Nikki, but they seemed quite confident of doing that after their victory in the quarterfinals over Kristen and Liesel by 21-16, 21-19. Into the second set, and Judith and Kirsten just a couple of points away from a place in the final against Palesa and Randy, and not a bad start into the second set for the Kirsten-Judith Agastidis combination either. A change of ends. The serve still with Kirsten. Straight down the middle of the court, although that seemed to be long, and a point for Natasha and Nikki, just managing to hold in. The second set a lot closer than the first set was. Nicely fought back by Kirsten. A little cross-court spike by Kirsten at the net, and success for the Kirsten-Judith combination. The signal coming from Kirsten to Judith Agastidis on serve from the back of the court. Set up for Nikki at the court, and down the line it goes for Natasha and Nikki for another valuable point to keep them in contention for a third set potentially. Natasha on serve. And a little dink to the back of the court from Kirsten goes long. Well, might have dropped just inside the court. Seemed to do that as Kirsten and Judith pick up the second set, 21-18, and make their place into the final against Palesa and Randy.
It was a tough match. They are actually good contenders to win this tournament. They've got a lot of more experience than us. It's our first tournament together, so we've got a long way to go. Some tough matches coming up in the future, but we just have to work hard and obviously try and get to their level.
I definitely had a lot of fun, and I hope Natasha did too. We got a couple of good hits, and I'm very proud of Natasha. Sometimes we get it right, but we need to work a bit harder together, and I think we're going to get better soon.
So once again, Palesa Sekonyana and Randy Williams find themselves in a final of the Flying Fish Beach Volleyball Series, this time in the Cresta Centre in Johannesburg.
It started in 2010. We called one of our beach volleyball friends, an ex-Olympic player actually, and then she got the idea to us that we must start playing together because we'll be compatible on court, and it was a friendship that just sparked like that.
I've been playing volleyball since I was 13. I'm quick. I get to every ball, at least I try to, and I am the cover player.
I'm tall, I'm the taller one on court. I was blessed with height, but I think I'm also the more aggressive one. Randy's more the composed one, and she keeps us together. She keeps us under our rules and composure and all of that.
Well, our goal is to win this tournament, first of all, and then to keep our #1 spot in South Africa. And our big goal is to try and qualify for the Olympics in Rio. That is what we're working towards in all these tournaments. This is good training for us so that it can get to a higher level.
First-time finalists Kirsten Pocock and Judith Agostidis would play against the favourites Palesa Sekonyana and Randy Williams, who were the victors in Durban over Sheena and Dike. And it would be a tightly fought final as well. And Kirsten and Judith. Kirsten playing from the right court, Judith in the red cap, Palesa from the left-hand court, and Randy Williams off the right-hand side, greeting each other. These pairings would have met each other on several occasions over the past years in South African beach volleyball, and into the final then for the first time. Kirsten on serve then from the right-hand court for the Kirsten and Judith combination. They pick up the first point as well. Congratulations from Judith Agostidis for her playing partner. And immediately from the outset, there was pressure on Palesa and Randy. Just to tell you that in the third and fourth place playoff, Sheena and Dike beat Natasha and Nikki 21-13, 21-19. But the title was up for grabs in Cresta, and that serve a little bit long from Kirsten on that occasion. Palesa Sekonyana then on serve, drops it just short over the net. A little dink from Kirsten as well, and then a strong spike from Palesa. Nicely worked back from Judith. They were working hard on both sides of the net in the first set, but eventually a good spike, too hot to handle, from Judith Agostidis grabs the point for the Kirsten-Judith combination. The pressure was mounting as Judith and Kirsten started to just draw away from Palesa and Randy in the first set, eventually winning by 21 points to 13. But it wasn't going to be easy for the combination playing in their first final, Kirsten and Judith, in the Flying Fish beach volleyball competition. Always strong at the net, and the taller of the two players, Palesa Sekonyana, was always going to be a threat to the Kirsten and Judith combination. It was hard work on the court, and refreshments was always going to be very welcome for both of the sides. Judith setting it up for Kirsten, who's the shorter of the two players, going straight down the middle. Absolute joy for Judith Agostidis. Little touch into the net from Palesa Sekonyana, not successful for the Durban champions, and there was work to be done for Palesa and Randy. Very capable of pulling themselves back into the match, but after losing the first set by 21-13, the pressure was mounting in the second set as well. A decent ball at the net on that occasion by Randy Williams, and congratulations from Palesa Sekonyana. Little discussion there as well between Kirsten and Judith, not wanting to lose the plot, certainly not wanting to go into a third set. A little bit of a tired serve on that occasion from Palesa Sekonyana. It wasn't the case though from Judith Agostidis. Nicely set up at the net for Palesa Sekonyana. The little dink into open court gives the combination yet another bit of success. Randy Williams then serving off the right-hand court. And a little dink into the net from Kirsten. Not that successful on that occasion. Randy Williams on serve, again going to the right-hand court. Kirsten with a reply. Kirsten goes deep. Sekonyana pulling it back, and Sekonyana with a spike again. Judith with a great recovery. And success, though, for Palesa and Randy as they managed to steal yet another point in the second set of the women's final. Judith once again setting up for Kirsten at the net, and although she was the shorter of the two players, she was able to get good elevation on the net. Unfortunately, on that occasion, the ball going wide of the court. So still Randy Williams on serve in the final of the women's competition, and the net going down the line this time. Judith Agostidis grabbing a valuable point for the Kirsten and Judith combination.
That is the score on 17-13.
17-13, and Judith Agostidis still on serve. Set up for Sekonyana, the ball going over the net from Palesa. To the backcourt though from Kirsten, and more success for Kirsten and Judith.
Another point then, 18-13.
Uncustomary rain falling over the Johannesburg area, still in the throes of winter, as you can see from the jerseys and the tops that the ladies were wearing out on court. And another great serve from Judith Agostidis, grabbing another valuable point for that combination. Really was proving to be very good from the back of the court. This time, Palesa getting past the block of Kirsten at the net. Ball spilling out of court. But Kirsten and Judith still holding sway as far as the first set was concerned. So the first set point then of the final. Judith Agostidis on serve and set up for Randy Williams at the net. But straight away there was an opportunity for Judith. And the spike was a good one to seal the first set for Kirsten and Judith by 21 points to 13. It was a pretty tight fought affair in the second set. Palesa and Randy leading by 11 points to 10, but it was quickly evened out by Judith at the net. 11 all and plenty to play for as far as the second set was concerned. Kirsten on serve from the right-hand side. Set up for Randy Williams. Little knuckleball over the net. No chance for Judith to get that back into play. Yes, and Randy stretching ahead, looking to try and force the match into a three-set final. So Palesa. Judith set up. Kirsten goes down the middle of the court. Once again, Randy Williams at the net, looking to go past the block of Judith Agostidis. Kirsten Judith combination finding themselves suddenly under just a little bit of pressure, taking the first set 21 to 13, perhaps a little more comfortably than they thought they might against a strong combination of Palesa and Randy, who really did have fabulous understanding between the pairings when they took the title over Sheena and Dika in Durban just a couple of weeks ago. But still showing good prowess from the serve. It was Judith in the red cap. Williams over the net. Judith once again with a spike. Again, it's a good recovery from Randy, but unfortunately not able to knock the ball back into opposition territory. Judith continued with the strong serving. Ball set up for Randy Williams. And she went down the line. And unfortunately, a bit of frustration for Kirsten and Judith as Palesa and Randy found the sand on the left-hand court. So back on serve was Randy Williams. And the immediate dink over the net instead of the setup from Judy Agostidis, this time giving the advantage to Kirsten and Judith. And a strong serve proving too hot to handle for the Palesa-Randy combination. And suddenly there was just a little bit of daylight starting to appear between Kirsten and Judith and Palesa and Randy. Again, Kirsten on serve, going across court. Randy from the right-hand court, dropping it short. Set up for Judith at the net, and she goes short as well, and finds the sand in Cresta. Tightish looking serve there from Kirsten, and the match was still very much tight at 16 to 15 in favor of Kirsten and Judith. Palesa with a serve, set up again for Kirsten at the net, goes cross court. Nice recovery from Randy. Palesa looking for sand. But the sand would eventually be found by Judith. Dropping into no man's land. A bit fortuitous maybe for Kirsten and Judith. But at this stage of the second set, every point was extremely valuable. Judith Agostidis back on serve. Randy at the net going across court. A bit of confusion between Judith and Kirsten. And Palesa and Randy looking to stage a fight back towards the end of the second set, but that fight back might have been in vain with Judith looking for sand just over the net. She might have caught the line as well to set up a valuable point in their first final of the Flying Fish Beach Volleyball Series. Well, that time the serve proving to be a little strong from Kirsten and Judith. And still just 1 point in it as far as the second set was concerned. The players having to switch ends every 5 points. The rain abating just for the moment. And Palesa and Randy with a serve coming from the left-hand court. Palesa Sekonyana set up though for Kirsten at the net. The block from Palesa. Judith trying to go to the backcourt but drops it rather short for Palesa to pick up once again. And Palesa at the net going into the sand.
Takes the score to 19.
And unfortunately the ball had gone wide down the line from Palesa Sekonyana. And a 2-point gap opening up in the final for Kirsten and Judith. Randy watchful as she recovers the serve from Judith Agostidis. Agostidis setting it up for Kirsten at the net. Nice recovery from Randy. And Randy again trying to go down the middle. Judith with a double touch, and the point going to Palesa and Randy. Just 1 point in it in the second set. Palesa and Randy fighting for their second title in successive tournaments. But it would be Kirsten on the serve, going deep. Good recovery from Randy, who would have to make up the ground to the net as well. Into the net, and the title to Kirsten and Judith, 21-13, 21-18.
Well, obviously super stoked that we won it. A little bit too tight for my taste in the end. Yeah, we, as you can see, not the youngest anymore, so we celebrate the parties as they come.
Both of us play this game because we love it, and every time we put our feet on the sand and touch a ball, our aim is to have fun. And through enjoying any sport, any game, victories come.
After the break, it was the men's turn to battle it out on the sand at the Cresta Shopping Centre for the top ranking.